This is the new Longines Legend Diver 39. Is it a Tudor Black Bay killer? Longines has been on fire recently. They've been coming out with hit after hit after hit. They've been coming out with watches with great features, great specifications and finishing, overall very solid designs. I think that Longines is moving in an excellent direction. Now, this watch is so well executed that I think it rivals the Tudor Black Bay 58, which I think most of you would agree is the top option for a sub 40 millimeter retro inspired diver. And I'm happy to see Longines kind of step into the game here and come out with, in my eyes, a competing watch that is very compelling. Now, this design comes from the Super Compressor 7042 that was released in 1959. And that Longines reference was 42 millimeters in case diameter and had 100 meters of water resistance. So this new 39 obviously is scaled down slightly from the original, and it will have triple the water resistance at 300 meters, but it does have the same no date execution for the dial, which I think is fantastic. I know a lot of Longines fans have been wanting Longines to reissue a no date of the Legend Diver. They've done it in the past, but it's been quite a while and they're pretty hard to come by. This also has the same hand design of the 7042, the same logo, the same font style, even down to the stylized automatic on the dial. I think all of that is fantastic. And then this new 39 is paired with a grains of rice style bracelet, which really looks lovely. And I think it strengthens the vintage aesthetic, although I don't think grains of rice really became popular on divers until the 1960s. It's still a fitting pairing. Now, I want to thank Exquisite Timepieces for lending this brand new release in for review. I've been borrowing watches from this family-owned AD for years. I've bought multiple times from them. I want to thank them. If you're shopping any Longines, I definitely recommend them, and a link will be below. Now, I want this to come across in the video. I'll do my best when it comes to the videography, but the fit and finish of this 39 is fantastic. I love the reflective nature of the black lacquered dial. Longines does offer this as well in a lacquered blue dial, which I think looks really great from the pictures that I've seen online. But there is a lot of light play throughout this watch, especially when this is on the bracelet. Now, it's a versatile piece. It would look awesome on a Tropic strap or a NATO strap or a different type of strap. But my favorite is the bracelet, and it just takes the light play up to the next level. And this overall dynamic presence will be aided by the fact that there is multiple layers of anti-reflective treatment that's on both sides of this proud box-shaped sapphire crystal, and that makes a big difference. I think distracting crystal reflections really inhibit at-a-glance legibility, and it becomes very frustrating to me as a watch fan when there's an excellent watch that has distracting crystal reflections. So here with this Longines, I think they've struck that balance of being easily legible. That's a positive, but still overall very visually dynamic, especially outside in natural light. Now, behind this engraved stainless steel case back is the L888 caliber. This will be a modified ETA automatic movement, and it has a silicone hairspring or balance spring that will be resistant to magnetic fields. It has 72 hours or 3 days of power reserve and beats 25,200 times every hour. And the shock protection system is Nivis Shock, so it's a very robust caliber. It will be a COSC certified movement. It will be accurate to a window of -4 to +6 seconds per day. Now, the 888 does not have a ghost date position in the crown, and I have to say that this movement crown has very smooth winding action. It's exceptionally quiet and enjoyable to operate. And I will say the same for the inner rotating elapsed timer crown, which is up by the 2 o'clock position of the case. The tactile feel of both of these crowns is just butter smooth. Now, here is the Lume shot. The watch has a bitone Lume application, and there's a good mix of green and cyan tone superluminova. In natural light or bright conditions, the Lume is white, and desaturated. And I want to thank Longines for not giving in to common tradition and placing old radium lume, overbaked super luminova on a heavily vintage inspired watch. I think that happens far too often. And this is an example of how great a watch can look with the proper bright indexing and dial contrast. So I think more brands need to do this. I really like that. But going back to the Lume, this is not the brightest nor the longest lasting application. And in my opinion, Longines did miss out on an opportunity to fully lume the elapsed timer ring. That would have been an excellent move. And with the scaled down overall proportions of the watch, the Lume here makes the watch look oddly small in no light conditions. Not that that's a bad thing. Now I'll show you the dial details. I mentioned earlier that I love the lacquered nature of the dial. This black just looks fantastic under the macro lens. The printing is clean, it's defined, and the design is based on the Mark II dial and timing ring of the 742. The first gen had a few differences. The second gen has a more refined marker layout. The lines on the inner part of the Arabic markers, which I really prefer stylistically. The Mark II timing ring also had fewer dots that flank the 15 index, so it's just a little bit more balanced, and I'm glad they went with the Mark II as inspiration as opposed to the Mark I. Now, the only element that is slightly different to the original is going to be the seconds hand. So the 7042 had a classic needle hand, but this modern version has a small lumed area. So modern dive watches, they need to have luminous hands. All of the hand members need to be lumed just for legibility in the water. A lumed seconds hand is important because it tells the diver that the watch is still running and still keeping time. So seeing that the 7042 came out back in the early years of recreational diving, the standards had not been developed yet, so I don't mind that this differs slightly in that one element. Now, if you scuba dive, could you take this modern Longines Legend diver as a backup to your dive computer on a dive? And the answer is absolutely. In fact, I hope one of you does it and emails me a couple pictures of you using your dive watch. I'd love to share that on my social media. Now, where could this be improved? I see two things. I mentioned earlier my desire for a lumed timing ring. I think that is a bit of a missed opportunity. And then the other element would be a quick adjust clasp. Longines has recently developed a very nice toolless system, which they have placed in some of their other model lines, some of their other new releases. And this Legend diver has a nice milled clasp. It has the applied winged hourglass logo, which I love, but the micro adjustment system is still the traditional holes that will require a tool to make the positional changes. I don't think it's a deal breaker, but I'm not sure why Longines neglected adding a toolless quick adjustment to this clasp. It's a very popular feature today, and I do know some collectors who do consider the lack of a toolless quick adjustment a deal breaker. But to end the video, let's go back to the topic of that I opened with here. Is this a black bay killer? And I think the answer is definitely subjective. There will be strong opinions in both directions, but that's the key though. They are only opinions, and your opinion is the one that matters most. So I'll speak to a few comparables and share my own opinion. These are both retro-inspired, high-quality divers. They're both certified chronometers. They're both, similar in dimension, coming in sub 40 millimeters. They both have larger and smaller brand offerings when it comes to the design within their respective companies. And I think both are versatile and comfortable and very strong in the market. I would say Longines is a little bit more unique in the overall design. It has the much better anti-reflective treatment on the sapphire crystal, and it's also $800 less at retail price than a Black Bay 58, so I think that is fantastic. The Tudor, though, has a free-sprung balance within their in-house movement, and that is great for stability. I do like a free-sprung balance in my calibers. The Tudor also has better lume, and it has a more solid-feeling bracelet that's a little bit more rigid. So I mean, there is some give and take with either one, and depending on what you value more, I think will determine which watch you like better. But I find both to be excellent watches, and I don't think a potential customer of either one will be disappointed with their pick. So, is this new Legend Diver from Longines a Black Bay 58 beater? Let me know what you think below. My own opinion, if I were to buy one, I think I would gravitate more toward this Longines just because it's a little bit more unique. And I like finding watches that are less common. But again, let me know what you think below. And thanks to Exquisite Timepieces. If you are shopping any Longines, please reach out to the store and feel free to name drop me. And then let me know if you have any specific questions. I will respond to you in the comment section. Leave me a like here if you enjoyed this video. And please subscribe for more varied watch content. Thank you.